Exciting time of year for budget devices once again, as we've had the offerings from both Apple with the iPhone SE 2022. We've had Moto with their Moto G stylus for 2022. Now it's the turn of Samsung and OnePlus with the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G and the OnePlus Nord N20 5G. An especially exciting time if you're a T-Mobile customer, as there are some fantastic deals on both of these devices. The Samsung coming in a little bit more expensive than the OnePlus Nord. Does that necessarily make it a better choice for you? We'll talk about it today on this edition of Steve-alicious Tech. The short answer to that is no. I don't think that despite the higher price tag on the Samsung Galaxy A53 5G that it's worth more, or even the better device, to the Nord N20. You get the Nord N20, that's an early contender for budget phone of the year. And I personally like the design. As soon as I saw it, it just struck me. And then when I started using it, the ability of the Snapdragon 695 is really impressive. The performance is fantastic. It loads up programs. The gaming is decent performance. The camera it's able to handle quite well. No issues there. In fact, that's the biggest difference that I saw just over the weekend using both of these devices. I was trying to pull up camera shots. We were going to do our usual grill shots for the two full reviews of these devices. And that's, it's an active environment. Put stuff on the grill. You got to make sure I get the shot before we got to cover it and all the rest of it. So the 695 was able to pull up the camera app, take the photo, save it, do whatever processing it did, and I was able to close the app on there smoothly. Not a hiccup. You do that on the A53 5G, it's a process and a half. Taking the photo. You thought that the shutter lag on the S22 Ultra series was bad. Shutter lag, then you had to deal with the lag opening up the camera app, then you had to deal with the lag of the processing the photo. Sometimes you hit the shutter and 1, 2, 3 seconds go by, it does nothing. Then changing the orientation back, so I was taking a landscape photo, I put it back to this to go and then close the app, and it would just laugh at me. It would just sit there and be like, oh, you want to close the app? Come back in a little while. All right, take a number, come back, and we'll see if the Exynos actually gets around to that process or not. And that's really annoying. That's mind-boggling to me. This is still a decision because I think despite the price difference, $450 list price on this and $282 here. So you'd think this would be $172. It's certainly not $172 than this. Better than that. But the thing is, like with all Samsung products, if you're paying full list price, if you're paying full boat, you're doing it wrong. You could basically trade in a Galaxy S3 that's barely breathing and get $200 off on this through the Samsung website. Link for this one will be in the description on Amazon. You get the international unlocked version, which you get different colors, which are quite nice as well. $360 on that, but be careful, no warranty attached with that. And then, of course, there are the T-Mobile deals, which is basically the purpose for the video. You can walk into T-Mobile right now, $99 for this with your 2-year contract instead of 3, which is nice. AT&T's going to those 36-month contracts. I never liked T-Mobile, but I'm going to start gravitating more and more towards T-Mobile stuff as opposed to the AT&T devices because they're more interesting. All right, they have a bigger spread of mid-tier devices, and it just AT&T not having it. 36 months on certain devices, so 24 months, $99 here. 24 months on the N20, free for that on that. And I think that's a fantastic deal. This is going to wind up being, it's going to be budget week. We have the TCL 30XE as well that we're going to be comparing to these devices. It's going to be like when your favorite game show went to like Hawaii or something like that. You have Wheel of Fortune, it goes to Hawaii and you see Pat Sajak in shorts for a week. That's essentially what we're going to be doing. It's budget week here for the most part on Steve-alicious Tech. So that, on paper, you really want to like this. The build is fantastic. A little bit more weight than this one. A little bit more heft. Feels more expensive. Robust. Like the sides is plastic, but it's not cheap plastic for sure. It's a nice, robust plastic. Like this matte finish on the back. Like that kind of unibody design for the camera. You do get the versatility with the cameras there. You get the different lenses that you can try different photos on. And it does take nice photos when it finally takes them. The camera, the shots are quite nice. So I do want to give the nod to the Samsung in terms of camera, even though this takes perfectly nice photos in good light as well. We'll do the full comparison with the cameras on both of these coming up later in the week. 120 hertz OLED panel, beautiful Samsung panel like usual. They always nail the panel, and this is no exception. really nice. The 120 hertz works well when the Exynos is working well. Pokemon Go, I was able to get the full 120 hertz. Fantastic experience. Super smooth. It's nice. But then you go to sort your Pokemon and it lags. You go to pull up Twitter and it lags. It's got 6 gigs of RAM. The problem seems to be, to me, so far using it, that when you get stuff out of cache, all right, you get stuff out of memory, you use up your 6 gigs and it starts closing things, that opening them back up causes some sort of bottleneck. And I heard for a while now, at least a year or two, that people were having, especially since the release of Android 12, that people were having difficulty on the A-series Samsung devices. And I had been using the S21 Ultra, the S22 Ultra, so I didn't quite understand that, because on that end, with the Snapdragon 888 and the Snapdragon Gen 8, Gen Mark 1, whatever it is, they were One UI 4.1 was running really well. No hiccups or lags. It had the shutter lag, yeah, but it didn't have anywhere near the lag problems that this had. But I got a bunch of comments saying, hey, One UI 4.1 is not that great on the A-series. And I absolutely understand what you mean now, having used this. And the frustrating, this device, I put it on Instagram, I have never been more annoyed by a device in my life than this one. Because it looks nice, it feels great, it's got the specs that you'd want, it just doesn't deliver in terms of performance, especially compared to this. And we'll put this aside now and talk about the N20 here for a minute, 5G. Great optical fingerprint sensor. I understand it's only 60 hertz, but that OLED goes pound for pound with the Samsung, if not a little bit better. This is a beautiful display, a beautiful panel. And it's sub $300. It's just really something you're going to enjoy looking at and using every single time that you pick up this device. Performance with the Snapdragon 695 runs circles around the Exynos 1280. 6 gigs of RAM here as well. Expandable storage, headphone jack, both things that you don't get on the Samsung A53 5G, but at sub $300 and a device that you could get for free. You're getting 5G if that's important to you. I personally don't care about it, but you get 5G on both of these. But to go pound for pound with something that should be more expensive, it should be better. This was a really impressive device. I like the design, but at the $282 price range, I think that the main takeaway that you're going to get is that you're going to pick up this device, unlock it, look at the display, and then see the performance when you're going through your Twitter and your Instagram and your Pokemon Go and all the rest of it, and WhatsApp and everything from there. You're going to go through this performance, and you are never once going to say, you know what? I wish I had gone with something more expensive. You know what? I wish I had gone with something different. It does this, it does that, it hiccups here, it just annoys me in certain ways. This has been silky smooth and just a device that you're going to want to hold in your hand over and over and over again. As it does a little bug that... It does have the one bug, I'll tell you what. That always on display, that ambient display. If you're an ambient display person, always on display person, this is the phone that you'd want then, because this you get notification bubbles, you get all the rest of it. This you get nothing. This is and that's a software thing. That's not a hardware thing. It's an OLED panel. It can absolutely support an always on display or a proper always on display. Very weird, but I'm going to tell you in real world experience, just using it on a day-to-day basis, this looks super attractive. It feels attractive. It looks the part. It talks the part, but it doesn't walk the walk. Doesn't actually go ahead and follow up on what the promise is for this device. Whereas this one punches well above its weight. Looks great, behaves great, and I'm excited for this generation of budget devices coming up this year if the Snapdragon 695 operates like this in all of them. I know the Moto device, I think there's another Motorola Stylus 5G coming out, but they have the regular one, still good. 5G every month, Moto Stylus every month. Moto's just bored, I guess. But I'm really excited with the performance that's able to be had with the efficiency. So you're getting really good snappy performance with 7 hours of battery, a screen on time. That's fantastic. 5 hours over here for the... Samsung tries. They try. They're focused on the flagship level experience. I didn't want to believe it, but I said, you know what, let me get my hands on an A-series and see if all these comments are actually correct about this. And you guys were 100% dead on. A-series lags. if you need a budget phone, if you're looking for a mid-ranger, something like that, or something that performs like a mid-ranger coming in at $282, to me the choice is the Nord 20 5G. If you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. LongIslandWatch.com. Link in the description. Cool new designs for summer. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.